Are you ready for this Saturday night? Because I am, and I'm so excited. I want to talk about it even before it happens, because there's a little bit of history. We're going to address that right now. Hey everybody, Chris King here. Welcome back to the Love Live Music channel on YouTube. I appreciate you showing up. If this is your first time, take a minute, hit the subscribe button for me, please. That would be awesome. You can leave me a comment later and say, this is awesome, or you suck, or I love live music, man. I would prefer those. What we're talking about today is specifically the fact that the boss himself, Bruce Springsteen, with the E Street Band, mind you, will be performing on Saturday Night Live, Saturday night, December the 12th. Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. They got a new record to promote, and we've seen this happen with Bruce before. As a matter of fact, he's appeared on SNL exactly 3 times. I would love to tell you that I recall all 3 instances or that I've watched them to follow up before this video, but that video is a little bit hard to find. That's the thing about SNL and why it's important to watch these events happen live or within the year when they're doing the reruns, because a lot of times it's hard to find the musical performances several years down the line. So in 1992, this was shortly after Bruce had fired the E Street Band, fired all those guys. I think he kept the keyboard player around, but he performed for the first time ever on SNL, which had been on for like 17 years, I think. In 1992, he performed 3 songs, which you don't get that a whole lot, but as fate would have it, his 2 albums that he put out, he had this great idea to put out 2 albums like at the same time, and they weren't doing real well on the charts. They were Lucky Town and Human Touch. So he comes to SNL. It's May of 1992. Tom Hanks is the host, and they let Bruce do 3 songs. He does Lucky Town, he does 57 Channels and Nothing's On, and he also does Livin' Proof. I was able to find video of the Livin' Proof performance. It was good. I actually liked his band that he had at that time. Believe me, they're no E Street Band, but they were a good band. It was a good, solid rock act. You know, Bruce on guitar. In the band, he had Shane Fontaine, who was in the act Merchants of Venus. Shane Fontaine, famous, most famous now, even though pretty famous for this Springsteen gig that he had for a short time. If you saw the Lincoln Center performance by Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart doing Stairway to Heaven, Shane Fontaine was the cat playing guitar. When the Led Zeppelin guys were up in the rafters and they were, you know, Robert Plant may or may not have been crying, and it was a very emotional, moving reading of the song by the Wilson sisters, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Bruce Springsteen's band on SNL 1992. Also on bass, he had Tommy Sims. Tommy Sims would go on to write the song Change the World by Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, who would like to change the world in a way that maybe a lot of us aren't very comfortable with Eric talking about how he would like to change the world. That's also a story for another day. Right now, we're talking about Bruce Springsteen on SNL 1992. They did their 3 songs. It was not super well received by the Springsteen fan base at the time because, honestly, it wasn't the E Street Band. He was rocking out with all these other new cats, and I think the fan base just didn't love the fact that they had supported him for so long, they had supported the E Street Band for so long, and this was not the E Street Band. All that being said, Bruce would then come back several years later. 2002, Matt Damon is hosting. Bruce brings the E Street Band this time. Yay! They do a couple of songs, Lonesome Day and You're Missing. I'll tell you what else is missing. Anything from this on the internet. I can't find these performances anywhere to watch them and tell you what I think. So we're going to skip right ahead to 2015, December 19th, 2015. The Christmas show. Everybody knows the SNL Christmas show is special, and this one was very special. Bruce was out in support of, he had just remastered The River, one of his biggest albums. I think this would have been, what, 30-year anniversary of The River? 35-year anniversary of the river, something like that in 2015. And it included so many outtakes and so many other tracks that were meant for that album that they recorded. They didn't really make it on that album. And they kick it off on SNL with one of those songs that he recorded in 1979, didn't actually release it until 2015, Meet Me in the City. As a matter of fact, on that tour that Bruce took out in 2015 in support of the anniversary of the river, Meet Me in the City, it was how they opened the show most nights. And if you watch this performance on SNL, man, it is Springsteen and the E Street Band cranked up till 11. This song never slows down. It starts off full speed ahead and just keeps going and keeps going. And it's classic, delicious, essential Springsteen viewing. I'll tell you, there's something about this band. There's something about how tight they are. And honestly, if you listen, and I know he does this on a lot of his songs, if you've seen him live, you see this a lot. But to me, this is one of the great appeals of his band is, you know, a lot of times they say it's what you don't play. It's the notes that you don't play that make the biggest impact. And these guys have all the stops. You know what I mean? It's like the song's rocking, 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 and then everybody stops for just like a quarter note. And then boom, it's back on. And this happens multiple times through this song. I think it's driven by Max Weinberg back there, just freaking knowing where the stops are and leading everybody. And the band having a great time. You got Steven Van Zandt, you got Niels Lofgren, you got everybody there just rocking out, and it was freaking awesome. And if you've never seen this performance and you care anything about Springsteen, you've got to see him do Meet Me in the City from 2015 on SNL. Next up, they do Ties That Bind. Another solid, good song, one that I wasn't really familiar with before watching the video of it. And it was good. It was just another, I mean, it's a great band. It's one of the great bands of all time that Springsteen drives. And it's just so good. If you've never seen them live, you've got to see them live. And if you can't see them live and in person, then you've got to see some of their live performances, because these cats aren't lip syncing, man. They're doing it, and it's so perfect, even when it's not. They've got Clarence Clemens' nephew on the horn, just blowing it, man. Blowing it good. I don't know the guy's name. Last name's Clemens. I know that. But he's awesome. Whole band is awesome. So that's 2 songs. They did 3 songs the first time in 92. They did 2 songs in 2002. Then 2015, they come back and they do 2 songs. And then it's time for the final Good Nights of SNL. You know how it is. They start off with Waltz in A, I think is the song they trail out with at the end of the night. But wait, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler welcome the boss back. And you hear the jingle bells and you know who's coming to town, baby. It's Santa Claus. Santa Claus is coming to town, and he's bringing Paul McCartney on stage. You got Springsteen, the E Street Band, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Paul McCartney, Maya Rudolph walking in front of Paul McCartney to get a handshaker or a tambourine or something. The whole cast gets up there. Everybody's freaking out and going crazy because Santa Claus is coming to town, baby. Santa Claus is coming to town. They even let freaking Keenan do some of the vocals, and it was awesome. You better be good for goodness sake. And the whole thing was so joyful and so awesome. And it just, they run through the whole 4-minute song, and you got to find that one online, and you got to watch that one. So that being said, since he's done that on the Christmas episode, December 5 years ago, I don't think he's going to do it again this weekend. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Probably the single off of the new record. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm going to watch it. You're probably going to watch it. And we're going to watch it because we love live music, man. That's why we're talking about it. We love to talk about music and all of that. And if you've seen me before, you know this is what I do. So subscribe up. We'll watch some more videos together. I know there's some coming on the screen right now, and we can talk about those in the future. I got more things coming. I got to talk to you about this because right now, nobody's going to shows. Might as well talk about them. Love live music.